who is adult Link? Because actually, his first appearance is in Ocarina of Time. He has never been an adult before this. And by adult, I mean 17.
Yeah, I mean, back then, your life expectancy is probably, what, 30? So
Back when? It didn't really happen.
Says who?
Zelda's not real.
Yeah, sure thing. Whatever you say.
Okay. Yo, junk! Listen, you jerk, what happens when you take Zelda 64 and put it into Smash Bros? You get Link from Ocarina.
Listen, you jerk, fuck your bombs.
Hey everybody, welcome to Listen You Jerk, where we're working our way through the Smash Brothers roster, starting with the N64. And the third character on the top row is Link himself, and it's also adult Link, which is a very important thing to say to you Smash Bros fans out there. So we're going to talk about adult Link. Number one, who is adult Link? Because actually, his first appearance is in Ocarina of Time. He has never been an adult before this. And by adult, I mean 17.
Yeah, I mean, back then, your life expectancy is probably, what, 30? So
Back when? It didn't really happen.
Says who?
Zelda's not real.
Yeah, sure thing. Whatever you say.
Okay. So this is classic. This is Ocarina Link. And that's an important distinction because the other Links do show up. But Ocarina Link specifically, after he meets with Raru, well, he wakes up. Apparently, there's been this old guy just staring at Link for ever and ever. But Link is the comes from the Legend of Zelda series. This I think this is his 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth game is Ocarina of Time, and in Ocarina of Time, there's a transition where you're young Link, and then via the Sage of Time or something, you go to the Temple of Time, which is introduced in this.
You get put to sleep in the Temple of Time because at that age you're not strong enough to fight the evil that lurks. Exactly. So they freeze you. And now you're old enough. Yeah.
And when you're old enough, you get exposed to different weaponry. So you get bow and arrow, you get the hook shot, you get the Master Sword is the secret to this, of Link pulls out the Master Sword to become this version of himself, and then goes to fight Ganon with his classic moveset, which the one I forgot was bombs. And you have a lot to say about bombs.
I got nothing to say about bombs. Just fuck your bombs. Yeah, they're the bane of my existence. I can never use them well in Smash, and every time someone played against me with Smash, with Zelda or with Link, excuse me, I would be doing well, and then all of a sudden, that person would be like, "Uh-oh," and then I would just get pelted with bombs. I could never get around them, especially with Kirby. I got to land at some point, and there's just bombs flying around everywhere.
Yeah,
I hate it.
So Link himself, as a character, he obviously, his number one thing is his sword. So this is a character in Smash that plays with a sword as the primary. And then he also, the one I forgot, he has a boomerang too.
He does have the boomerang.
Which the cool thing about Link is it is like playing with, all your favorite toys from the games, specifically from the N64 games.
Right.
Where all of those moves you've seen before, it's almost the same rendered model, maybe a little bit different, but Link's your hero. Link is your adventure hero for Nintendo.
Right, your underdog story.
Why would you say that?
Because the entire time people are telling me he's a boy, he can't do it. He's too. The whole Legend of Zelda series is an underdog fighting and perseverance, showing that you can win against great odds.
Yeah, I mean, some of the Kokiri were definitely dicks.
Oh, for sure.
And this is that one. This is that's very important. There are multiple Links. This is Ocarina Link, and Ocarina Link is one of the Kokiri, one of the chosen forest people who went to go save the Deku Tree and gets put on this wonderful adventure and defeats Ganon as an adult. And I remember this is the first time where I thought Zelda was for big boys.
Right.
It didn't feel like I was playing a child's game later in that game because some parts are scary. There's blood. There's
the first time you meet adult Link in Ocarina, it's scary because he goes out and there's zombies everywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
So, right, the whole thing is just kind of like a dark introduction.
He also had the Z trigger.
He did,
which was pretty cool.
He did
because he had a little selector, so you knew where to sash. Right, bash. That's probably terrible for the camera. But. So yeah, Link's kind of easy to describe because he's from the Legend of Zelda series. He's the hero of all of them. You have played a game as Link, but not necessarily this Link, because this Link is the Ocarina one. But you've seen the tools. Right. The tools that are used are in most of the games. Hookshot is one that makes appearances here and there, but it was nice to see that it went into Smash Brothers.
Right.
What do you wish they did with Link, adult Link?
Well,
And by the way, they've done a couple things I wish they did. They updated his costume for whatever game. So you can now play as Twilight Princess Link. You can play as Breath of the Wild Link or Tears of the Kingdom Link.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Something I wish that could have happened is, and this is kind of back towards my idea that personalized items and upgrades would have helped. I would have liked to see those mobile bombs that he had. The mouse bombs, I think they were called. I would have also liked to see a little bit more done with the sword. I know he had the spin attack, and I know he could get his sword to glow up, but it didn't really do much except for add quick 10% of like damage or something. So I would have liked to see a little bit more power or at least versatility out of that Master Sword, because I think the Master Sword in Legend of Zelda lore that's the weapon. That is the thing that, you know, nothing, not even Ganon can defeat. Not even Ganon can defeat the power of the Master Sword. So I feel like that was a little underrepresented in what it was capable of doing to, you know, the Donkey Kongs, the Marios, the Samuses, that type of thing.
It's a friggin' sword. You know, it is cool in that aspect.
But it's the sword to end all evil. It's the sword to preserve time. It's the, you know, like one slice into an evil spirit dispels it.
That made me think, okay, so there's two things I wish you could do as Link, and I like this. I think this is a fun little segment. I wish that you could use the fire or ice rods, because they are in a lot. Like magic is a big part of this, and none of the Links can use magic. So it would be cool if one of the moves, it was able to be something magical. I'm thinking the fire rod or the ice rod.
Yeah, and
instant freeze, instant.
Right. It could even be like,
fire.
It could even be like Navi pops out with a Poe or something, and it's like an elemental Poe, and they do the move. It doesn't even have to be Link holding a rod or anything. The
other thing I wish, and because you talked about Master Sword, is when you're at full health, you should be able to shoot a beam.
Yeah,
you should be able to shoot a beam out of the sword.
That's another thing that the full health being able to shoot a beam. That was more of
or
the
0%.
Right, but that was more of the later games. Like that's Breath of the Wild, like Tears of the Kingdom style.
No, that's all the way.
Not all the way though, because
Link to the Past, it's definitely in. He can swing it and it goes one.
No, I'm saying the beam is in them. Yeah. But I'm saying in terms of only being able to shoot that beam when you're at full health, that's more of a late game mechanic.
I was defeated. Player one defeated.
But no, but that's something that definitely should have been able to happen. Whether it's, you know, maybe they had that mechanic or even just in general.
Yeah.
You know, like he had the charge up. You know, but that was just like you shoot a beam and then it's not that much more powerful. But like when you're like the Master Sword beam is like that's how he wins. That's how the game ends half the time. Like when he gets that beam to show. So it's like that should be more of like an ultimate smash or a meteor strike type move to me. I think the Master Sword should have had more devastating power.
I think the Triforce should have been
also that
somehow used.
Yeah, also that.
Right. Now he does his cool. Well, let's go into the moves before we go there. So there's the I wishes. So what's the moveset? The moveset is
a lot of swordmanship.
Yeah.
Throwing or rolling bombs, which
that's your B down move.
Yeah,
your B down move is to pull out a bomb, which then acts as like an item.
Right. Exactly.
But I think others can throw too. Can't you catch?
I never tried. I ran from those. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had one thrown back at me. I'll say that.
I feel like you can catch them, or at least you can use them if like you drop one.
I know if I hit it with Kirby's mallet, I blow up.
Okay. So the bombs is B down.
Yeah.
B up is a spinning, essentially your like if in the game you charge and do your spin move, that's your B up. So which is good, and it gives you a little bit of verticality. Probably a little bit more than is realistic, but you got to have a B up move to get back onto the stage.
And he also had that with like that like kind of up combo. He also had that back protector too, where he would swing his sword back, kind of like that DK one.
Yeah, he did that like double side.
Yeah, and he would, if someone was coming up on you, you could keep your attacks going on the guy in front of you, but then you'd also make sure that your back was protected without having to throw up that shield. So that was always a fun one to use for me.
Yeah, and then the B over move was a boomerang.
Was not a fan of that one.
Yeah, I didn't use that much either.
Didn't work very well.
It was nice that it came back. It was a good move if someone's off the ledge to use.
Yeah,
because if they jump over it, it might hit them on the way back.
Like moving forward, like Ness style, like with his little yo-yo that he floats around. It's kind of like that. It's hard as hell to control, but
you can control the boomerang.
you can like lean it or like aiming it basically. You're not moving it like Ness's. But in turn, like what I mean by that is Ness, that move is great if you're on the edge and you can just keep like peppering somebody off with it.
Yeah.
Just like with the boomerang. But like when you're in the thick of it, you have to pay too much attention to like what that boomerang's doing to use it effectively when there's a scrum, in my opinion.
Totally. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people use the boomerang, but I know a lot of people use the bow and arrow, which is the B move.
Yeah.
And this is also a charge shot.
Yeah.
Because you can release it you can release like a dinky arrow if you just hit B.
Right.
But B in a hold will be piercing and it'll go all the way across. And again, this is an impact damage weapon. So if you get hit by it, it will stun you a little bit. So always nice
shields
when you start out to start flinging arrows.
Right.
And the thing that's interesting is Link in his move set is he's got 2 extra moves, which is actually technically 3. So his one extra move is that maybe it's 2, is that if you do nothing, like if you don't push any buttons, his shield is up and his shield can deflect anything.
Right.
Which is interesting. Is it right? You don't even have to hit block. He's just naturally holding it.
No, I think you do have to hit block. I think if you like,
I don't know if that's true.
I think if you tap block, he'll like throw it up. But when you hold it, that's when he'll do like his little shield or whatever. But,
yeah, bubble shield.
Yeah, but no, I think if you tap it, he'll like throw that out. That's like one of those like timing like perfect counter type situations where like if you get it and he like blocks it.
I'm pretty sure you could just stand there, and if you're not moving, that like if Mario throws a fireball, nothing happens. I'm almost positive that Link has that.
Gonna have to play test that. I don't remember.
Yeah,
gonna have to play test.
Play test.
Yeah.
The other move is he has a hook shot, and his hook shot is his throw,
his grapple,
which is awesome. So he can grab you, but it has a second move, which is if you're flying off the edge, you can use it to hit the edge of the platform and bring yourself to it and come up. And that was always hard to pull off, but a very cool mechanic.
Yeah, and especially because if it worked, it would give you that little boost jump, and then you'd be up in the air, and you could like hit your bow and arrow, or you could do something from an air combo.
Yeah,
which was huge.
And then the other move that he has is sword related, where he can do a down sword like thunk, which is, think like Uncle Scrooge from think Uncle Scrooge if he impaled and killed someone coming down. So it drops down, hits from above, and sticks.
Right.
Which is just really cool. It's also kind of devastating. Like it's a good attack to have.
Right.
So Link's great to play with because he has all his toys. Right. I think that's playing with Link is fun, and I do it often, and I like the sheer amount of moves you can do. I think that's what's cool.
Right.
Now, he does not have a hook shot in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Does he use something different, or is it still a hook shot?
No, because Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom focus more on like the climbing and gliding aspect.
Yeah.
So I don't think they really use. All right. So also with especially in the new one with all the different like in the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, he had those powers like magnesis and that stuff.
Yeah.
Where he would kind of move around with, but they no actual like hook shot with hook like tabs.
Yeah, no. But they haven't made those mechanics have not made it into Smash Brothers. I think it's
the magnesis
moveset,
ones.
Yeah,
no, they have.
They have
in Ultimate, yeah, because there's the Breath of the Wild Link. So like, if
Breath of the Wild Link is different from Ocarina Link.
It'll change,
and they're both in there.
So the bombs will, well, they're not different. I think don't quote me on this one. I think I think it's a costume change, but that costume change gives Link the Breath of the Wild ability. So like the bombs come out like the magnesis or like the whatever that power was called.
I know that the bombs become different.
Yeah,
for
they
sure.
come out like that, and then there's like the grapple, instead of using the hook shot, it'll be a magnesis thing if I remember correctly.
It's mostly aesthetic. Interesting.
It's mostly aesthetic.
I'm gonna have to play through that. But yeah, if it acts the same, that's cool.
Yeah.
But that is the cool thing about this Link character is this Link can become the other Links in like in costume.
Right.
And I thought that it changed. Playing as him is fun. He's kind of quick. It's always nice to land that move on top of their head. And it's also really fun to hit the hook shot.
That piercing noise when you like land on him like that. It's like, and
yeah. He also has his smash move is 3 strikes. Because it's like bump, 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 instead of just being like one thing, which is kind of cool. And definitely helpful when it comes to like racking up damage and things like that. He's a baller, you know?
Yeah. He's definitely one of those like stealthy kind of like in and out, like he'll come in and like, slit your soft spots and all that. Like he's definitely not one where you want to get toe to toe with somebody, but you can get in toe to toe, knock some people around, bounce out, throw a bomb in. Like he's definitely one of those like pepper fighters.
What's he like to play against?
Same thing. It's just you got to be on your toes with Link because especially like in a 1v1 4 players or whatever.
Yeah.
If you lose track of where Link is, he's gonna get you at some point. Like if you're focused on someone else, he's gonna come up behind you and you're gonna get smacked or you're gonna get that drop on you or a bomb's gonna hit you. Like he's very good at opening with a strong attack.
I think he also like the fact that his smash is 2 swings is super helpful because if he misses you with the first one, he can hit you with the second one. He's annoying to play against because especially against a computer, because they're pulling out all of the weird stuff. And if you just are trying to get back and you get hit with a rogue arrow, it's just like, how did you hit that?
Or like when I'm like Kirbying and I'm floating back up and I'm like looking ahead as to where I'm going and all of a sudden one of those dinky little arrows hits and it just knocks me off my thing. Like it's like that did no damage to me.
Yeah.
But now I've got to figure out where I'm landing because I just lost my floating ability.
And his super move, what is his super move? Is one of those ones where like he'll catch you in a combo. Like if he'll
like
it's like a glare or something, and if he sees you,
and then if you're near it or something, he'll just start like swinging all over the place, and you'll get stuck
inside a Triforce. There, we didn't do that for Donkey Kong. Sorry, but I think he's. Definitely when you're playing against him, you got to be on your toes. If someone's good at Link, I worry a little bit because it's a move set that not many people have because there's so many things that it's kind of hard to line up against.
Right.
Last thing we do is we talk about the importance of Smash Brothers. This is there's a reason that Link and The Legend of Zelda was the other cartoon that Nintendo made. This is their number 2 guy. Right. This is, if Mario's too kiddie, this is what you want to do. This is the birth of the adventure. This is the classic guy that's the adventurer in many, many games. And he's a guy with a weapon, so he's the first time you really encounter someone who's got a weapon the whole time and you got to figure out what to do. He also has had a lot of variations in costume and in how he looks. And he's always the one I look to of like, oh my God. I remember when he came out in Melee, it was like, look at how good Link looks.
Right.
That was crazy, just the upgrades, because he's the most humanoid of the Nintendo characters, right?
He's literally just an elf at that point.
It's just the ears.
Yeah.
But super important to Smash Brothers. He was not in the commercial.
No.
Because then he would be hitting someone with a weapon. I think he's important to Smash Brothers because he introduces here's a realistic thing that exists with all these mostly cartoony things.
Right, exactly. And I mean, Legend of Zelda is my favorite franchise of all time.
Yeah.
So I won't even speak on the importance to the Nintendo world because that's a whole bit in and of itself. But in terms of Smash, I agree that it to kind of build on what you just said, it kind of brought that like a more adult, more like not darkness, but that seriousness to that playfulness. And I think that opened up the fandom to a lot of different people because I can even speak for myself. Out of all the Nintendo stuff, things like, Splatoon or like even Mario, like that type of thing, like I didn't gravitate towards those that much. I gravitated towards like, the Star Foxes and the Legend of Zeldas and the things that like stuff was going wrong. And it was like, oh crap, we got to fix something.
It was like teenage.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like teenager stuff. So, a little angsty, which made sense because this Link is 17.
Exactly.
And then before we sign off, just because I know you got to go, the last thing I just want to mention is Link's got great levels. Hyrule Castle is awesome.
That's the best one in the OG 64 one, in my opinion.
And I love that Furor's Wind was in there.
Yep.
Of like occasional tornadoes would come in. Which is just a nice little treat for those of us who are watching. And then later games, they brought the bridge in from Twilight Princess, which had like crazy things going back and forth.
Yep.
And I love the Twilight Princess look.
Yeah, that's a sleeper. I think that's one of those games that, like, the people who have played it know how good it is, and the people who haven't need to.
Except for the first level where you have to follow a stupid cat.
But that set it up because it was just so like, what is this? It's such bullshit. And you get irritated, and then you find out what's going on, and you're like, all right, let's fucking go.
I am not allowing this game to say I was irritating on purpose. That was bad design.
No,
that was Miyamoto making. You got to find like a key. You got to follow a cat, and the cat doesn't go anywhere.
Oh, okay. And the glitching.
Talk about a friggin' cat.
Okay, that's fair.
Did they fix the glitch?
Last I played,
they probably fixed it for the HD remaster.
Last I played was the remaster, so probably.
Well, remaster this. That's it for Link. We love Link, The Legend of Zelda. We love Smash Brothers. We'll be back next week for Samus.
Love it. Well, don't love it. My brother loved it, which means I hated it. So
finish.
Don't try.